welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a couple of kooky, crazy kids in love that love reacting to some Fallout.
Yeah, we do.
And so we're checking out Storyteller Fallout series. This is season 3, episodes 19 and 20. So we react to this every Thursday. You can check out a playlist down below in the description of this video. In case this is the first time you're checking us out, you can get all caught up. Happy binging.
Happy binging.
And we have a special drink for Fallout.
Yeah. So this is the Stim Pack Spritzer. And you may ask why it has that name. Well, that's because it has a Stim Pack.
Yeah.
So you inject the Stim Pack into the drink, give it a little stir for good measure, and then boom. Cheers.
Revitalized.
Edna, we need you to scout the roads east. Be back by dawn this time. The Mississippi is less than a day away. Luddite territory ends there.
Let me guess. Those primates won't defile their feet by stepping on a pre-war bridge built with machine-made steel beams.
Yup. King Lud ruled much of St. Louis when I was there last.
Our android might end up stuck on this side of the river then. The Luddites might do our job for us.
We'll see what Edna turns up and build a plan once we know what we're up against. You two turn in. Daisy and I will take first watch.
Nice.
You were going to tell me a story about a girl and a robot dog.
All right. A long time ago, in a faraway land called California, there was a brave young woman named...
The Chosen One. I know this part.
The Chosen One left her village on a quest that took her far south to a place called the New California Republic. She was looking for a very old piece of technology called a gek. So she thought it would be a good idea to ask a scientist about it. In the NCR, she met a man named Dr. Henry.
I do not like going to the doctor.
Doc Henry had a pet that was half dog
like our dogs.
and half robot.
Like me. Was the dog's name Daisy?
She was just called Robo-Dog, and Doc Henry gave her to the Chosen One. Doc Henry didn't know where the gek was, but lots of people in town needed help. So the Chosen One and Robo-Dog went to the nice old woman who was president of the NCR. The Republic had once been called Shady Sands, and the president lived there way back when she was a young girl. She even knew the Chosen One's grandfather, the hero we call the Vault Dweller. President Tandy wasn't a young girl anymore. She had grown into a wise leader and helped found the Republic with her father. By the time the Chosen One came, that republic had grown from that one little town into a nation that covered most of California. But some people were too frightened or ignorant to see how joining the republic was in their own interests. And one of those places was called Vault 15. Vault 15 was a big hole in the ground, full of amazing machines from before the Great War. The president's ancestors lived there 200 years ago, and so did mine. Some bad people had moved into Vault 15, and the president needed help in getting them out. So she asked the Chosen One.
And Robo-Dog.
And Robo-Dog too. Make the bad people go away. The bad people called themselves the New Khans. Many years earlier, the original Khans had fought the people of Shady Sands, and the New Khans still hated the president and her republic. Their leader was a man named Darian. He was the only survivor after the president and the Vault Dweller defeated the Khans, and he had spent 80 years rebuilding the gang. He even had a mean old dog that followed him everywhere. When the Chosen One and Robo-Dog came to the vault, Darian knew that they had been sent by the president, and he sicked his henchmen on them. After making the bad people go away, the Chosen One and Robo-Dog searched through Vault 15's records and finally learned the location of the gek and a place called Vault 13.
Actually, there was a prospector in the NCR who had a map to Vault 13. The Chosen One could have learned of its location that way.
I thought you were asleep. Does that damned power armor talk on its own?
What did Robo-Dog do next?
She and the Chosen One returned to NCR, and here they met the New California Republic Rangers.
You were called Ranger Tanner. Are the Rangers your parents?
In a sense. The Rangers have existed since a little after the Vault Dweller came to Shady Sands. Us Rangers are the ones the NCR calls when no one else can get the job done. We stop the worst criminal organizations, scout out new territory, and we were the ones who took down the Legion at the first battle of Hoover Dam.
Oh my god.
The Chosen One helped the Rangers stop a gang of slavers that had set up shop just north of the Republic's border. You were all smug about the Vault Dweller being in the Brotherhood of Steel. But you forget that the Chosen One was a member of the NCR Rangers.
If Junior was awake, he'd say the Chosen One probably killed all the slaves right in their cages.
Chosen One. Kill. Paw.
Did the Chosen One meet more dogs on her way to find the Gek?
Hopefully.
The Chosen One did meet another robot dog. His name was K9, and he lived in a place called Navarro. He was also in the care of a doctor.
Grr.
But he was nice.
All doctors are bad to dogs.
Okay, he was bad. And he did mean things to K9. But then the Chosen One arrived, and she made the bad doctor go away.
Nice.
I met K9, not long after the Chosen One fought the Enclave. Good conversationalist, if a bit of a know-it-all.
Oh, do tell.
What happened to Robodog and K9?
They had many more adventures with the Chosen One. Then they went to live on a farm with a nice girl named Dorothy.
NCR scientists disassembled them.
They went to live on a farm.
That's weird. I swear I dreamed about talking dogs.
I was just telling Daisy about the cyber dogs that traveled with the Chosen One while she was looking for Vault 13.
Talking dogs, talking mole rats. What the hell kind of nonsense are you two gonna get on about next?
Well, there were these talking death claws.
I don't believe a word of it.
It's true. The Chosen One had one of them follow him around for a while. But that's... story for another day.
Nice. I missed that when they didn't say it in the last few episodes. So you got your story about a girl and her dog.
I did. I'm like Daisy. I'm like, but what happened next to Robodog? What happened next to K9?
Her little growl at the doctor was so adorable. Grr.
Yeah. All doctors are mean to dogs. It's not true, Daisy. There are some good vets out there.
Yeah, there definitely are. Daisy obviously was the star of this one. Should be. A girl and her dog. Daisy should be the star. But I liked how Helen was basically saying that they wanted to go live on a farm.
Yeah. And then here's our storyteller. They were disassembled.
Yeah.
They went to go live on a farm.
Seems like a conversation Bethany and I would have.
Yeah.
You can guess who's who.
Yeah.
And the Chosen One woke up to find the girl's father standing over the bed, waving a shotgun. They were married that very day at the Modoc Church.
A sexy farmer's daughter and a shotgun wedding. Are you sure you didn't get this story from that erotic holovid out of New Reno?
There is a kernel of truth, even in...
Something is approaching from the east. Oh, it is the robot.
She says she didn't encounter any patrols west of St. Louis.
That's convenient for us.
Think the Luddites know we're coming? Got some kind of passenger pigeon network that told them about us?
They're either overconfident or luring us into a trap.
King Lud rules a 1,000-mile stretch of the country. He's not stupid.
Neither is the android. We might be able to use this in our favor. Any sign of an ambush, and we'll head to the closest city with a bridge across the Mississippi. Then set up our own ambush there. Let's move out.
Still got a ways to St. Louis. Last night you were gonna tell us about what the Chosen One found at Vault 13 all them years ago.
The Chosen One expected to find it full of their kinsfolk, descendants of the people who chose to remain behind when the Vault Dweller was banished 80 years earlier. Unbeknownst to the Chosen One, the Enclave had cleared the place out and left behind a new group of Vault Dwellers. of a sort.
Death claws. Too bad they didn't put an end to the chosen one right there.
It might have turned out that way if these were any other pack of Deathclaws. Lots of people in the wasteland think the Deathclaws sprang straight out of hell in the years after the war.
They look like it.
But they're the result of pre-war genetic engineering. Modern zoologists say the Deathclaws have many traits in common with a pre-war lizard called the Jackson chameleon. They were tiny back then. People even kept them as pets. But the men of science, in their devil-may-care pursuit of the exceptional, decided to make the chameleons 100 times bigger, teach them to sprint on 2 legs, and give them claws the size of bayonets. And thus was born the huggable monstrosities we see roaming the wasteland.
Why didn't they just eat the chosen one?
These were a special breed. The Enclave had a file cabinet full of schemes to make life generally worse for humanity, and among them was an experiment to make Deathclaws smarter.
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
The Republic put a brain clone from the most dangerous person on Earth into a robot body.
Hey, the Vault Dweller was a hero, not a giant monster that could take a person's head off in one bite.
The thing about making a creature more self-aware is that it might not be content with its lot in life. The Enclave intended for this new breed of Deathclaws to be just smart enough to understand orders, but not question them. Most of them did do as they were told, but several of them ended up as philosophical types capable of asking why. The Enclave dumped a pack of them at Vault 13 after they left, to ensure that anyone who stumbled across the place didn't live long enough to ask where the original dwellers went. But the alpha male of the pack, a beast named Gruthar, decided that the Vault's resources could help him establish a new society.
They couldn't do that in any other cave in the wasteland?
The Vault Tech machinery provided food and water for the pack, so they didn't have to hunt and kill like animals. You see, at some point after the Vault Dweller left, the remaining inhabitants rebelled against Overseer Jakerin.
Good.
And they replaced him with the mainframe computer that automated most of the Vault's functions. The Deathclaws could use speech recognition software to run most of the Vault systems, and they were diplomatic enough that they convinced a human doctor to stay at the Vault and look after them. A few other humans joined them, and they had the potential to become a prosperous community. Trouble was, one of the humans who stumbled upon Vault 13 thought that the Deathclaws were a threat to humanity. He sabotaged the mainframe and tried to blow up their eggs.
Got eaten for that, I take it.
Actually, Gruthar was civilized enough that the perpetrator was imprisoned instead of executed. Most of the people who live there seem to consider the Deathclaws as protectors instead of threats. Gruthar and the Chosen One managed to negotiate for Vault 13's creation kit. The Chosen One repaired the computer, and in turn, Gruthar handed over the shiny metal case.
Funny how I keep hearing fairy tales about talking animals, but I never actually met one of these things, even when I went by Vault 13.
Just about all of the talking Deathclaws were killed when the Enclave returned to Vault 13 a couple of weeks after the Chosen One was there. The Vault security system captured footage of the whole affair. My armor's data storage has a copy of it.
You said most of the talking Deathclaws were killed.
The Enclave had another experimental test subject at a nearby facility. The Chosen One visited that place shortly after Vault 13, so that Deathclaw might have escaped and multiplied. The Chosen One also made a new friend at Vault 13, an individual named Gorus, who decided to join them on their travels in the wasteland. Gorus was something of an anthropologist. He wanted to see the cultures of the wasteland and learn how humans had managed to rebuild society. He was a keeper of many mysteries, and had more than a few surprises the first time he fought at the Chosen One's side. I met him once, decades ago, and he recounted some of the Chosen One's adventures, including their long trek back up north once they had the precious Gek.
The Chosen One didn't know about what happened, right? In Arroyo?
No, the Enclave came and went without a trace, using their vertibirds.
Shame about that. Those villagers didn't have it coming, even if they were the Chosen One's kin. St. Louis city limits up ahead.
Story time is over, kids. Eyes up. Edna, Daisy, what do you read?
Something is burning. Many things are burning.
Oh no.
Haven't seen a massacre like this since...
Ain't never seen anything like this. Luddites having a civil war, Legion spreading east.
The android stayed ahead of us since Denver somehow.
When Android did all this?
Did all this?
I've heard tell of such lunatics that launch mini-nukes into the middle of towns. Killers who sneak through a community at night, murdering everyone in their sleep. Deranged marksmen that snipe whole populations just for target practice.
Is the person who did this very, very bad?
Where'd that come from?
Yes, he is, Daisy. And karma's a bitch.
Daisy just dropped out of the sky.
I know, right? I think it was supposed to be coming from her back or something like that, but it looked like, just fell out of the sky.
Yeah.
Another good cliffhanger there.
Yeah. An intense cliffhanger.
Yeah.
This was interesting. I think in one point because our driver, whose name is escaping me, even he seemed a little sympathetic, not directly to the Chosen One, but to a village that got wiped out. And he's like, they were the Chosen One's kinfolk, like he said, even if they were related to the Chosen One, he seemed to feel some empathy for them. So that was just interesting because there was a kind of a new color in the story where he's usually anything that is the Chosen One and or related to the Chosen One is very important to him. So that was new and different, which was interesting. Also the fact that, obviously the big massacre and better understanding what happened there in that next episode will be really huge. And I liked that Edna and Daisy were working together at the end there, even if they weren't voluntarily working together. They still were both, Daisy, Edna, give us a read, what's going on. So that was kind of nice to see too.
I also so the Deathclaw that was in charge, his name was I don't know, Gormonks or something like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a weird monster name. I kind of was hoping his name would be Fred or something like that. Since they talked and they had intelligence, maybe they would pick I don't know, they would try to pick more human names, more familiar names instead of weird monster names. Yeah, I did like the story of them though. I liked the fact that a few people stayed in the vault with them, that there was this community that was able to form between them, and how maybe when the one rogue guy went off and killed all the eggs, the people were still very much with the Deathclaws in terms of locking the guy up and making him stand, face some kind of justice. Which I was surprised for. I like that because you would think that them being Deathclaws, there'd be swift retribution and they would eviscerate that guy. But the fact that they're not going to their I don't know base instincts of killing somebody. So I like that when expectations get defied or where they are sort of in some capacity turned on their head to make you as the audience member go wow, that was kind of my own prejudices coming in there, right? I assume the big scary monster with the huge claws is going to be an evil killer. Yep, I was wrong. Those are my prejudices, but I do appreciate that, and this was, I think, a very fun way of doing that to us as an audience. Let us know what you thought about this down below in the comments, and if you want all of our Fallout reactions, check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there for you, as well as a link to our Patreon and get early ad-free access to our reactions. Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for Fallout Season 3, Episode 19 and 20, but just keep in mind that our reactions are definitely not definitive.